Hi, this is SOG Consult. Today we shall be talking about taking off an estimation for structural works. Taking off an estimation for structural works. So if you are watching us for the first time, I will employ you to like, subscribe and share our videos to your friends and family. So today we are going to talk about what is taking off sheets and items under taking off for structural works. So let's go. What is taking off? What is taking off? Taking off is a process of identifying elements of construction works that needed to be measured and priced. So number one is to identify the elements, and number two is to derive the quantities, the measured quantities needed to be priced in our BOQ. So we have traditional method of taking off. The traditional method of taking off is using the dimension paper. So what we popularly call taking off sheets. So this is the definition of taking off. So in our dimension paper or in our taking off sheet, we have four columns. Number one is timesing column. Number two is dimension column. Number three is scoring column. Number four is description column. What is timesing column? Timesing column is a column that gives the factor of multiplication. I mean multiplication of elements. That means if you measure an item and the item is to be repeated in 2 or 3 places. So this is a column in which you just multiply your work or the item measured in the dimension column by 2 or by 3 in the timesing column. So that is timesing column. So about dimension column, this is where you take or set down your elements. This is where you set down measurements from the drawing. If you get some measurements in your drawing from your, let me say, your architectural drawing, or let me say from your structural drawing, and you want to record them in your taking off sheet, the place where you record them is called the dimension column. So number 3 is squaring column. This is a place, or this is a column in which you sum up in form of multiplication. Let me say in form of multiplication. This is where you sum up the measurement obtained in the dimension column. So the number 4 one is description column. Description column is the place, or let me say is the column in which you describe your work item. So all your work items are described in the column named as the description column. So let me show us taking off sheets. So this is a taking off sheet. So as you have said, we have 4 columns. This is the dimension column. This is the timesing column. This is dimension column. This is squaring column, and this is the description column. This particular column is where you describe your work item. If you want to write side clearance, so this is side clearance now. For example, side clearance. This is where you describe your side clearance. So you have to write something concerning your side clearance. Maybe you have to clear the shrubs, the weeds. So this dimension column, this is where you set out, or let me say you record your quantities measured in the drawing. Maybe you measure 2 meter, 2.0 meter by 4.5 meter. So this is where you write your measurements. This squaring column, this is the summation of your dimension column. Maybe multiply 2.0 by 4.5. So the answer you get here will be recorded here. And this timesing column, this is the multiplication factor column. Maybe your 2.0 by 4.5 is in 2 places, so you just write by 2. That means multiply by 2. So this is your taking off sheet. Popularly, this is your taking off sheet. So next is items under substructural works. So note this for only strip foundation. So we have several items under structural work. We have site preparation. Under site preparation, we have some sub items under site preparation. We have in which you have the cutting of trees, site clearance, and topsoil removal. We have different kind of sites. We have virgin land and we have already developed land. So if you are talking about virgin land, we talk about cutting of trees, site clearance, topsoil removal. But if you are talking about already developed land and you want to work on that land, maybe you may refer to as like first item, maybe demolition of existing structure. In number two item, maybe packing away of debris off sites before starting of construction work. So depending on the area, let me say depending on the land in which you want to work. So after site preparation, we have trench excavation, we have leveling and compacting, we have earthwork support, we have leveling and compacting, we have anti-damage treatment, we have earthwork support, we have concrete in foundation, we have block work in foundation, hardcore filling, sand blending, DPM, DPC, factory mesh, formwork to edges and oversized concrete. So next we are going to show the foundation details. So this is an example of our foundation details for street foundation. So as you can see here, this is our concrete footing. So this is our concrete footing. So here is a 225 by 675 mm strip concrete footing. So after our concrete footing, we have our block work in foundation. This is our block work. So this is our block work. So after block work, so we have our imported fillings. So the first imported fillings are laterites. So after compacting, so can you see well compacted laterite soil. So after compacting our laterite soil, we have hardcore filling. After our hardcore filling, we have 50 mm sand blending. So the purpose of the sand blending is to create a leveling surface for our DPM and also to prevent our DPM from tear. So after DPM, we have our BLC mesh, which is represented in red. After our BLC mesh, we have our reinforced concrete slab. Though note, we have two schools of thought. So this arrangement is for the first school of thought. For the second school of thought in construction, after our laterite compacting of laterite soil, they lay their DPM. After laying their DPM, they put their hardcore. After putting their hardcore or the nylon on the DPM, they put their BLC mesh. After the BLC mesh, they cast their concrete slab, the oversized concrete slab. But this is the recommended school of thought work which we are going to follow in this project. So let's go. So site preparation. So as I said, under site preparation, we have cutting of trees. And the work item of work is measured in numbers item. So for our taking off sheet, we have four major quantities. For number one is our linear meter. Number two is our square meter. That means area, your area. Number three is our cubic meter, which is our volume. And number four is our height, such as counts as numbers 1, 2, 3. So these are measures. So this image here is derived from BSMM 4. So can you see removal of trees, removal of shrubs, removing shrubs. So can you see the unit of measurement in numbers? So this is the image showing cutting of trees. So the next item is site clearance. This is the removal of shrubs, weeds, unwanted material off-site and is measured in areas. It's measured in area, meter square. So these are image showing site clearance. So after our site clearance, we have topsoil removal. So for our topsoil removal, topsoil removal is removal of vegetative soil off-site. This soil is good for our agricultural purpose, but not for construction purpose. So we have to remove this soil off-site, and the unit of measurement is meter square. So after topsoil removal, we have our trench excavation. Actually, in our construction work, after our topsoil removal, we do our setting out. But setting out is not taking off sheet. That is under preliminaries. It's under preliminary. So in our taking off sheet, after topsoil removal, we have trench excavation. This is the excavation of foundation lines of the building, and it's measured in cubic meters. So for this measurement, we take note of the main gas, the width, and the depth of excavation. And again, we deduct our teeth junctions. Teeth junctions means where two excavation meets. So we have to deduct the junction in which the two excavation meet. So after our trench excavation, we have a leveling and compacting. So this is leveling and compacting. You can see two workers here working in the foundation, the trench. They are using ramming machine. They are using rammer to compact the trench surface. So can you see the two of them? So these are the two of them. They are using machine here to compact the trench surface. So leveling and compacting is measured in meter square. They take note of the main gas of the foundation and the width of excavation. So that's it under leveling and compacting. So our next work under leveling and compacting is after leveling and compacting, anti-termite treatment. Anti-termite treatment is done to area prone to termites. So this involves spraying of chemicals on the trench surface and both sides of excavation. So both sides of excavation. So as you can see here, you can see a worker spraying a chemical for treatment of the trench. So to the surface of the trench and to the sides of the excavation. So after treatment, we have earthwork support. I believe we know what is called earthwork support. This is the creation of formwork towards the sides of the, or let me say, the face of the excavation. As you can see here, if you are having a very deep foundation, or let me say if you have a loose soil, we need to provide earthwork support. So or else if you don't provide earthwork support, our head will try to fall into our trench surface. So that's the main reason we provide earthwork support. So that's the main reason we provide, and it's measured in meter square. So after our earthwork support, we have concrete in foundation. So this concrete foundation is measured in cubic meter. So you take note of the main gas, the width of the foundation, and the depth of the concrete. And mostly depth of the concrete of our concrete footing is 2 to 5 mm. It's 2 to 5, that means 9 inches. So you can see here a worker casting or doing the concrete footing. So after our concrete in foundation, we provide block work in foundation. So this block work in foundation is also measured in meter square, taking note of the main gas and the height of block work. So height of block work. So after our block work in foundation, we have hardcore and laterite filling. So this is the important filling. We have hardcore. So in which we import hardcore. This hardcore is measured in cubic meter. And the measurement is taken from in to in. I mean internal space. Now let me say room by room. We fill each panel, or let me say each room, or each internal space separately. You can't fill hardcore on the block work. So the measurement is taken room by room of the internal spaces, and it's measured in cubic meter. So After our hardcore or laterite filling, we have side and sand blending. As I've said, this sand blending is to provide a leveling surface for our damp-proof membrane and to prevent tear and wear of our DPM. So of our DPM. So we see the image of the sand blending. So after the sand blending, we have the DPM. So the DPM is laid on the floor. It's laid on the floor. So in our Nigeria side, we see our DPM lay like in all the building width, length and width, but that's not so normally. Our DPM is laid internally between rooms. DPM is laid on the floor. So the main purpose of the DPM is to prevent rising of damp into the building through floors. So that's what we call DPM. So after DPM, we have something we call DPC, damp-proof course. So damp-proof course is laid on the block. It's laid. If you check the meaning of a course is a horizontal layer of brick or block. So if you are talking about our damp-proof course, that means any material laid on our course, that is our block or brick, to prevent the rising of damp. So DPM is laid internally, it is laid between floors, while the DPC is laid on the block. So some might just say, okay, in Nigeria we just laid our DPM, like spread it all over our floors and our block, but that's not so normal. So our DPC is on our block, while our DPM is on our floor. So after DPC, we have our fabric mesh. So this is our fabric mesh reinforcement. So as we know, our concrete is half strength in. So as we know, our concrete is good in compression but weak in tension. So that's the reason why we introduce our BLC mesh to increase the tensile properties of our concrete. So and this unit of measurement is taken in areas, meter square. This measurement takes note of the length and width of the building minus the concrete cover both sides. So this is fabric mesh. So our next item after fabric mesh is what we call formwork to edges. Formwork to edges. So as you know, formwork is a form of mold, let me say temporary mold, that gives shape to our concrete. It gives support, it gives shape to our concrete. So for our formwork to edges is measured in linear meter because it takes note of the perimeter of the building, around the building. So it will take a measurement in linear meter for formwork to edges. You see the image representing our formwork to edges. So after formwork to edges, we have oversight concrete. So we cast our concrete, and the unit of measurement for oversight concrete is in cubic meters. In which you take note of the length, the width, and the thickness of concrete slab, thickness of the concrete floor. So as I've said, if you are watching us for the first time, I would like us to like our videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and please share our videos. This will encourage us to make more interesting videos on this channel. So I'm SOD Consult. So bye. God bless.